Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Heather, and today we're going to be doing a video where I checked out some library books. I was able to get all the audiobooks for them too. So I'm going to be reading and listening to audiobooks from the library at the same time. I'm going to take you around and just talk through the books with you. I read some really good books in this video. I'm going to take you back to a couple weeks. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button before you go, and leave me some comments down below letting me know what you thought of everything. But yeah, we're gonna take you back a couple of weeks. Hope you enjoy. Hi, wanted to fill you in and let you know I'm halfway through this book. I'm really enjoying it. The whole world of this book is very interesting to me. It is set in the United States, but it's set, I wouldn't say in a futuristic United States, but this is a dystopian world where people who are in prison can go into something called CAP or CAPE. I would say CAPE because it's CAPE. It's a program where they can go and they can literally fight to the death, and if they win so many matches, they are set free. And that's just like the whole setting of this. It's basically a gladiator arena where people go and they kill each other to try to get free, which is very warped way of thinking, because a lot of them were literally put in prison because they murdered people. But anyways, so we have, oh, what is her name? We have Stax and we have Thurwar, who are like main warriors who are very popular. Thurwar is on the cusp of being able to be released, and she has been she's like a super high gladiator, where Stax is more of a fan favorite, and they are actually a couple. So we're following them, and it's really just following the everyday life that they live and how people have lost their like remorse for people, and people just really look at them as if they are not human anymore. Like they're just people who go out and they kill each other. It's a spectacle sport. In a way, it kind of reminds me of like MMA fighting or UFC fighting, where people are in a ring and they're just beating the shit out of each other. And in this world, they're killing each other, and people don't see them as human anymore. People see them as a spectacle, basically. I keep saying that, but it's written very, very well, and I am enthralled with the world itself and how this author has been able to so far piece everything together. Like all of the different characters that you meet are related and connected in some way, and I think that it's done so well. And it also talks about obviously social injustices. It talks about police brutality. It talks about just how the overall judicial system and prison system is, and it's just done so well, and I'm enjoying it so much. I love dystopian literature, and I just like the way that the author is talking about brutal scenes, but in such, I hate to say it, but in such a beautiful way, just by the way that he's writing all these characters. And yeah, I'm liking it. It's done very, very well. It is a very hard read. It is very hard, and the way that the author has just weaved in real world and fantasy world together, it's done so well. And I can see why so many people love this book and appreciate this book and respect this book, because I am probably going to be one of those people too. But yeah, just wanted to fill you and let you know that I am almost halfway. Trying to get my new tripod in the right height. So yeah, I got a new one. It was my Christmas present to myself, but I like it. You're not crooked anymore. It even has like a little level thing on it too, and it's like sturdy. So You Ain't Moving, and I already like it. I already like it a lot. But I wanted to fill you in and let you know that did I update you? I think I updated you on Chain Gangs. I'm gonna have to go look. If I didn't, hi, editing me, and I in fact did not update you on Chain Gang All Stars, but I wanted to let you know I ended up giving it a 4.5 star. I thought that it was an excellent book. It was written very well. The overall themes in here, the overall messages in here, and everything were very, very hard hitting. And the main thing that I want to talk to you about that I not related to, but it stuck out to me the most, was the way that the prison system in here was written, and how even though people know that some of these people are extremely bad people, they are put up, these people who are fighting are put up on a pedestal, and people are excited to watch other people die. And it kind of reminded me of how people, like, I watch true crime, you know, but how people are obsessed with serial killers, and how people are obsessed with inhumane things. And this also goes to the prison system as well, and how our prison system in the United States is very, very flawed. And this whole world is set up so people who are in prison can go into this CAPE program, and this CAPE program gives them the opportunity to fight to reach a specific level so they can get out and, like, be a citizen. But the way to do that is to fight in the arena and kill people, and also survive outside of the ring when they're running through the wild and running through the wilderness and meeting up with all of these other chain gangs and stuff like that. They're literally, it's survival of the fittest. And it, like I said, it doesn't matter why you were in prison, as long as you have the personality and the skills for it, they will put you in this program. You'll just sign on the dotted line and you'll go in there. And then once you're in this program, you are literally fighting to the death. But then people who are also not in this program are put in these facilities and put in these prisons that are just horrible. The food, the clothing, the overall just like facility itself, it's bad. And I believe that this was written in the way that it was to reflect how the prison system in the United States is. And overall, you know, just overall that, like, how people are treated and how people are just cast aside, but how people are also put up on a pedestal when they probably shouldn't, and how people are just very desensitized to specific things nowadays. Like, seeing horrible things on the internet doesn't bother people anymore, and how just the way that our world is not the best, you know. It's not, things need to change, and I believe that that's what this book was trying to convey in its messages and its themes. And I just thought that it was really, really good. The only reason I did not give it a 5-star read is because some of the characters in here that had chapters I didn't really connect with all that much, and I didn't particularly care for their chapters. I thought it kind of slowed down the book a little bit, but overall it was a really, really good book. And I believe if you were interested in it, you need to pick it up and just give it a chance. It has highly rated, or it's highly rated for a reason, and I believe that it's super important, especially if you live in the United States, or if you just want to read something that is not so far-fetched but has a little bit of a, or has a dystopian atmosphere, you know. I think that you could learn a few things from it, and I think that it's a really, really important read. So that's my thoughts. So we're going to move on to the next book. I ended up finishing A Killer's Daughter, and I'm giving it 3 stars. It was cool to read from the perspective that we read it from Nadine. She is the daughter of a serial killer who's also female, and she recounts a lot of situations where she knew that something was suspicious going on with her mother, and she actually helped her mom dispose of evidence as well. And she's the reason why her mother was caught. So she turned her mother in. And she's now a psychologist, forensic psychologist, I believe. She's the person that like reads body language and stuff like that. So she is helping out on this case, and the case turns out to be the case turns out to be very, very similar to the way her mother's MO was when she was out killing people. So that's like the basis of the whole story. It's a detective thriller. It was pretty intriguing, but the writing was just very simplistic. I want to feel what the characters are feeling, and I did not feel that. It was just kind of like a very generic way of writing, very medical, which is not bad in a sense, but I need a little bit more emotion, you know? And I didn't really care for the romantic thing that happened in here either. I really just wanted it to be like straight thriller, like detective thriller. And the clinical writing in here was very interesting, but then the emotional aspect of like trying to be in a relationship with somebody too kind of threw it off a little bit. If it was just written in one way, I think it would have been fine. But yeah, that's just my review of this. I do plan on reading the second one because Nadine is a very, very interesting character to me. The way that she was brought up, her persona of trying to be not perfect, but trying to be something that her mother doesn't want her to, or trying to be the opposite of what her mother wants her to be. But she also has like a little bit of bad in her too, because she comes from a line of serial killers. Her brother is even a killer, and she's the only one that she knows of in her family that has not killed before. And she has urges, but she uses them for good instead of going out and murdering people. So not a bad book by any means, but yeah, we'll see how the second book goes, because I do think my library has the second book. I then decided to pick up Wife of the Gods. I don't really know what this is about, and I'm gonna go into it not knowing a lot about it. I read the second book synopsis in this series, and I want to go into this not knowing anything. I just know that it's a mystery, and it has like a little bit of a thriller aspect too. But I just, yeah, I want to know. I don't want to know anything going into it. It says right here, an Inspector Darko Dawson mystery, so I'm assuming that it's going to be another like detective mystery thriller, which I'm very excited about. I don't want to know going into it. All I know is it's set in a small town, and yeah, the reviews that I've read about it are pretty good. So I'm gonna start reading these. So I finished this and I'm giving it 4 stars. I thought that it was a pretty decent detective thriller. We're following Detective Inspector Darko Dawson, and he gets called to a very small town in Ghana. And the reason he gets called to this small town is because he can speak the native language there, which is Ewe. I believe that's how you pronounce it, E-W-E. And in this small town, a woman named Gladys was murdered, and they need help. So he gets called there, and we find out that he is actually, like, some of his family actually lives there. His aunt and his uncle live there. So he does have a connection there, and the connection behind that deals with his mother. His mama went missing when he was a small child, and she went missing from this town when she was visiting her sister. So Dalton has some questions about his mother. Obviously, he's always been trying to find his mom. He kind of has an idea of what happened to her, but no one can really tell him what happened. There's just a lot of secrets that run in his family. So when he's called to try to figure out what happened to Gladys, he also wants to find out what happened to his mom. So he's trying to find those answers too. Dawson is one of those characters that if he needs to figure something out, he's going to deal with it. Like, he's going to take it into his own hands, especially when it comes to women and children. There are many, many times in this book where women and children are being abused, or women and children are being faced with things that they shouldn't be faced with, and he deals with it in his own ways. I'm not going to condone the violence, but I can see where he's coming from with that, especially due to his past and what, like, his job. But he does take matters into his own hands, and there is a religion in this small town called Trotsky, which is where families give their virgin daughters to a priest. And they do this because somebody in their family has committed a crime, and it is considered like a traditional, how do they say it in here? I don't want to misspeak. It's a controversial custom, and it's found in the Volta region in neighboring Toga. Opposed views from each side, and it is essentially, like I said, where young women who are virgins are given to this priest to try to rid their family of the criminal acts and like forgiveness that somebody in their family has caused. But essentially it is slavery, and because it is religion that's practiced, the police and the government do not convict these priests who are essentially enslaving young girls and women and sexually assaulting them for sometimes their entire life. So that was a very, very woven in, deep theme that was in this book, and it took me down a rabbit hole. And I have read numerous journal articles about this practice, and it's very interesting, and it's very, very sad. And the way that the author handled it, I thought that he handled it with grace, and he in a way was very educational, especially to somebody who didn't even know what that practice was. But again, it's something that these women and children are going through and treated like property instead of humans. And it was just a very deep woven in theme in this book, and I thought that, like I said, the author handled it with grace, and he did a very good job with that. I am going to continue with the series. I like Dawson. His practices, to me, in a lot of ways were justified because no one else was stepping in and helping these people. But he is a very morally great character, but the more you learn about him, the more I respected him. So there's that. But the like twists and turns in here, I was able to pretty much pinpoint from 50% on, but it didn't take away the overall experience that I had with this book. The only reason I didn't give this 5 stars is because there's so many characters that you meet in this book. It was kind of hard to keep up with at times, but in the end, you could pretty much understand what was going on. So now is this bad boy's turn. Hello, cutie booty. My little baby is coming in my office to destroy things, but I'm gonna start with this one, and I want to get this finished by the end of today, so we shall see how it goes. Okay, that happened. Sophie, you sneaky little bitch. Sophie is... Sophie. I will fill you in once I get all my thoughts together. Sorry, I'm blue. But look, you know the lighting. I'll fill you in when I get all my thoughts together, because this one was a whirlwind of, oh, I know what's going on. Oh, okay, never mind, I don't know what's going on. Finally have all my thoughts in order to talk about this book with you, okay? So this book, I gave it a 4. It was kind of slow at first, wasn't really understanding what was gonna happen. Kind of thought that, kind of thought that June was having a little like nervous breakdown sort of at the beginning. I need to scoot closer to you. Ugh, I'm very far away. I'm trying out new angles in my office and I have books everywhere and it's kind of hard. Anyways, I thought she was kind of losing it a little bit. June is seeing her late husband. They were married for 7 days before he went missing and he was declared dead on their honeymoon. So very tragic. She has a lot of questions, and then she's seeing somebody that looks just like her late husband. So she's trying to figure out everything. And the way that all of these puzzle pieces come together, I thought I knew what was going on, but it was just like one twist after another after another. Though it was very slow at the beginning because we're getting June's background, her mindset. We're also getting Bev. Bev is her late husband's mom. We're getting her side of the story about things that have happened in the past and how her marriage is and how her kids are and her little baby. And then we also meet like a lover that she had a long time ago that has re-entered her life, and just the struggles that she went through as a mom, which I really appreciated because not a lot of people talk about how motherhood can change a person. And sometimes some people who think that they want to be mothers don't need to be moms, and that's a topic that's in here, and Bev really struggles with that throughout the story. She has like a 9-month-old in her part of the story, and then she also has an older son who is June's late husband. So we have Kieran, and Kieran is I think he's like 8 months old. So she's going through postpartum, and she finds out some stuff that her husband was doing behind her back, and it was just like an emotional roller coaster with her and trying to figure out motherhood, trying to figure out a brand new baby after raising a child pretty much, because his name escapes my mind. Josh, he is, I think he's like 17 or 18 in her part of the story, so he's almost an adult, and then they end up having another baby. So it's like raising two different families, and she wants to raise Kieran very well because she doesn't feel like she did a very good job with Josh. And then June's story, it's very sad, very tragic. She's going through all of these possibilities, like, did he leave me? Did he die? What happened? Like, why is this happening to me? And then she gets engaged to this guy named Kyle, who she started dating about 6 years ago, and then all of these things just start coming up, and she starts seeing her late husband everywhere, and she tries to get down to the bottom of what's going on. So she travels to Napa, where Josh is from, Bev lives, and it just kind of goes from there. And that's all I'm going to give you because there's a lot of twists and turns, and I can't talk about anything for real in here because it'll spoil a lot of stuff. And I've already said some spoilers that I cut out. But I enjoyed this. Like, it was a roller coaster, an emotional roller coaster. Audiobook was really good as well. I read it on audio I listened to it on audio while I was reading it with my eyeballs. But I think if you like domestic thrillers that deal with a lot of real life issues like postpartum, losing a spouse, all of these different people coming out of the woodworks trying to tell you how somebody was, all of these things, because that's another thing too. June is getting all of these conflicting ideas about who her late husband was, and she is very defensive of him because she knew him for like 6 months before they got married, but it was like a love at first sight thing, and she doesn't want to think the worst of him because that's not how she knew him. And all of these other people are telling her that he was a horrible person. So she's going through that, really finding out who her husband was, but also he was really young and stupid at a lot of times, and he grew up. But, you know, going back to somebody's hometown, seeing how they are around the people that they lived with, that they grew up with, and versus the person that you know, there's always bound to be some secrets that come out. So that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was a little all over the place, books like I am all the time. But let's do a review of all of the books that I read for this video. So Chain Gang All Stars was 4.5 stars. Really enjoyed it. If you were looking for a dystopian world that has a gladiator setting, that has a lot of diversity in it, and it talks about the justice system as well as the prison system, I think you would really enjoy this. If you like, or I gave A Killer's Daughter 3 stars, which I'm going to continue on with the series because I enjoyed it, but there was just some things that I felt like lacked in this book. And I think if you are looking for a very easy thriller to get into that deals with the daughter of a serial killer and she's trying to figure out who the copycat killer is, and she's helping the police as she is also a profiler, I think you would really enjoy this. Then I read Wife of the Gods. I ended up giving this, what is it, 3.5? 3.5 or 4? 3.5 or 4 stars. Yeah, there's just a lot of characters in here, and I did like Dawson. Pretty sure I already told you this, that he is one of those people that takes on things on his own, and he kind of doesn't follow the law even though he is a police officer. But there are reasons as to why, and you find those out. But I am going to continue on with this series. I thought that it was very good. There was just some things that I didn't particularly care for, especially all the characters that you meet, and it was just kind of like, wow, that was a lot. But there's that. And then read, obviously this one I just told you about it, Till Death Do Us Part, and 4 stars. Okay, so those are the books that I read. Hope you enjoyed this. Stick around for the next one because I'm going to go to the library tomorrow and pick up more holds. So I'll see you later. Have a good one. Bye.